Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is a really crucial one. We're going to cut through all the noise of digital transformation.
All the buzzwords.
All the buzzwords, exactly. And we're going to zero in on what is really the absolute center of the modern retail universe. And that's the piece of architecture known as the Customer Data Platform, or CDP.
Right.
We're diving into a pretty powerful white paper that I think serves as a strategic blueprint. It really outlines why the CDP isn't just another tech tool.
No, not at all.
It's more like the required foundation for survival in competitive retail today.
And the stakes are so high because of one simple truth, which you kind of touched on, the traditional boundaries, between a company's sales, marketing, service departments.
They're gone?
They're completely obsolete. And why? Well, it's because the modern customer, you expect instantaneous gratification.
Right.
You expect a completely delightful, seamless end-to-end experience. You don't care if you started browsing on your phone and finished in the store. It has to be one journey.
And to deliver on that, retailers have to move beyond that siloed data.
They must. This blueprint we're looking at, it treats the CDP as a mandatory business and technology strategy for this customer experience digital transformation.
And the objective is financial.
Oh, it's starkly financial. We're talking accelerated revenue growth, significantly higher customer lifetime value, or CLV, and a radically improved customer experience, CX.
What's great about this source material is how universal it is. It's not just aimed at the huge multinational e-commerce players.
No, it applies across the board.
Right. You could be running a small specialty store, a convenience store, maybe you're managing a major hypermarket.
Or even an off-price or, used goods outlet.
Exactly. If you interact with a customer, this architecture is relevant. Every single business needs that single, actionable view of the buyer.
Right.
Okay, so let's unpack that core concept. If we strip away the high-level strategy for just a moment, what's the fundamental, tangible goal of putting a CDP in place? Practically speaking, what are we trying to achieve?
The objective, as the source defines it, is really simple and, as we said, financially focused. The CDP has to convert raw customer data into actionable insights.
Actionable, that's the key word.
It is. And those insights must then be used to significantly grow sales revenue, boost your marketing return on investment, and increase customer lifetime value. It's about operationalizing every single piece of information you gather.
And enabling action in real time.
In real time, that's the critical part.
That distinction is so important. This isn't just a storage solution, like a data lake or some big cloud warehouse.
Not at all.
It sounds more like an engine, something designed for immediate influence. So technically, if this thing is the heart of the retail operation, how do we define it as a piece of software?
Well, a CDP is defined by its 4 core interconnected functions. First, it has to ingest customer-relevant data from, virtually any source you can imagine. Structured, unstructured, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so it pulls everything in?
Everything. Second, it has to unify and contextualize that data. This is the big identity resolution piece, creating that single reliable view of a customer across every touch point they've ever used.
Right.
Third, it has to derive actionable meaning from all that unified data. This is where the advanced analytics come in. We're talking predictive recommendations, deep insights, that kind of thing.
And the fourth piece?
The fourth is that it has to be able to trigger real-time actions across all the other business systems. This makes sure that the insight translates immediately into a better experience for the customer.
That whole process, ingestion to real-time action across what could be a huge retail operation, that implies just immense technological complexity.
It does.
So let's talk about that technological backbone. What are the key components of the tech stack you need to support this? Because this is clearly way more than just a big database.
Oh, absolutely. The components are broken into a few essential layers. The foundation is built on what the source calls robust data management essentials. This involves sophisticated data ingestion protocols, absolutely critical identity and access management, and really robust data and process integration capabilities. A typical retailer is running dozens of systems, legacy and modern. The CDP has to link them all. Seamlessly. And this also involves continuous data pipelining and processing, making sure the data flows quickly and correctly. But I think maybe the most crucial part of this foundation today is strong data governance, orchestration, and privacy controls.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yeah, without meticulous governance, knowing where data came from, who owns it, and making sure it follows all the privacy rules, you just can't trust the insights.
And you risk huge compliance issues.
Exactly. Trust in that data is absolutely fundamental to making it actionable.
Okay, so that's the plumbing. Now let's get to the real payoff. You said it drives actionable meaning. Where does the actual intelligence come from?
That's the next layer up, the advanced analytics and action layer. This is where the platform starts to predict and prescribe behavior. It's the domain of machine learning and artificial intelligence, ML and AI.
Right.
So the platform needs tools for continuous data exploration and critically predictive algorithms to forecast what a customer might do. Things like, identifying a customer who's about to churn or predicting their next likely purchase.
I was looking ahead.
It's looking ahead, and it needs to surface key performance indicators, KPIs. These are the defined metrics like conversion rate or cart abandonment or how long it took to solve a service ticket.
And this lets data scientists build models.
Right. The CDP lets them build and test different predictive models without having to constantly export these massive clunky data sets. And finally, you need robust cross-system workflows.
Can you give me an example of a workflow?
Sure. So the system might detect that you, the customer, keep searching for an item that's low on stock. The CDP workflow should immediately trigger an alert to the fulfillment team.
And to the customer.
And at the same time, trigger a personalized email offering an alternative product or maybe a notification for when it's back in stock. All of that happens in a fraction of a second.
Wow. So the ML and AI are really acting as these proactive advisors, telling the retailer, hey, this might happen and here's what you should do about it.
Precisely.
But all of this technological muscle, it has to be just relentlessly focused on the human buyer, right? How does the CDP specifically enhance that customer relationship?
That customer focus is what gives the CDP its unique power. It creates what the source calls a dynamic omnichannel progressive profile.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means the profile is never static. It's constantly being updated and refined based on every single interaction, from browsing in a store to a comment on social media to a service ticket being resolved.
Every single thing.
Everything. And this profile captures behavior, sentiments, experiences, all in real time. This level of detail allows for incredibly precise audience segmentation. You can move beyond simple demographics.
Into what people are actually doing and what they want.
Exactly, into behavioral and intent-based segments. And this is what fuels real personalization, highly relevant recommendations, and it maximizes your upsell and cross-sell opportunities.
And the goal of all this unification.
It all culminates in the customer 360 in the single view. The single view is, it's the holy grail. It's that single, comprehensive, reliable, unified picture of the customer.
And it has to be instantly accessible to everyone.
Everyone. Marketing, sales, service, fulfillment. It's the foundation you absolutely need to deliver that delightful end-to-end experience that the modern customer just demands.
This is where the conversation gets, for me, really fascinating. Because to build that dynamic single view, the CDP has to be fed accurate, timely data from every imaginable corner of the retail organization.
Right.
And the white paper outlines 5 key data and process universes that have to align and feed this central platform. Can you list those for us?
Sure. These 5 universes, you can think of them as representing the entire retail footprint. They wrap around the CDP like concentric rings. So you have 1, in-store, point of sale, and clienteling.
Okay.
2 is e-commerce and marketing. 3 is CRM and loyalty. 4 is retail omnichannel fulfillment. And 5 is digital and external media.
And if any one of those is missing,
then the single view is incomplete. It's just not the full picture.
Let's start with the physical world then. In-store, POS, and clienteling. The point of sale used to be, a very simple system. It logged a credit card transaction and that was it. How has that definition expanded?
Oh, it's expanded dramatically. The POS definition is no longer just the fixed checkout counter. Modern retailers have these omnichannel POS systems at scale.
So like mobile devices for sales staff.
Exactly. Mobile POS devices, self-checkout kiosks, even those self-scanning options you see in the aisles. Every interaction through these different mechanisms, whether it's a sale or even a failed transaction, it has to be ingested immediately.
But the real game changer here is something you called clienteling.
Right. Clienteling. It's a bit of industry jargon, but it's basically the application that in-store retail agents use for assisted selling and checkout.
So it's the tool on their tablet or device.
That's it. And when a sales associate uses a clienteling app, they should have real-time access to the CDP's 360-degree view of that specific customer in front of them.
So they can see my purchase history, my interactions.
Your purchase history, your known interactions, your preferences, even what you were browsing 5 minutes ago on the retailer's app on your phone.
Wow. That completely shifts the in-store interaction. It goes from being purely transactional to highly personalized service.
It does.
So the tech stack is capturing data points that signal intent, inquiries, interests.
Yeah.
It's not just the final payment anymore.
Exactly.
So what's the concrete value of connecting clienteling in real time to the CDP?
The value is immediate, and it's massive. So imagine a customer, let's say it's you, you walk into a physical store. The clienteling system recognizes you from your mobile app login or maybe a loyalty card scan. The CDP knows you browsed a specific brand of athletic shoes online yesterday, but you didn't buy them. And it also knows you have a high CLV score.
So I'm a valuable customer who's on the fence about a purchase.
Exactly. So the Associates app, the clienteling tool, can instantaneously push a personalized one-on-one experience derived directly from the CDP.
What would that look like?
It could be a special limited time promotion just for that shoe line, or maybe an alert that an item you wished for that was out of stock just came in and it's in the back. The promotion is offered as part of one single connected journey.
A journey that links my digital behavior with my physical presence.
That's it. That seamless connection is the essence of the modern retail experience.
Okay, let's move to the second universe, e-commerce and marketing. This space is, it's defined by that customer expectation of instant gratification.
Absolutely.
So how must MarTech marketing technology evolve to meet this demand for real-time customer experience?
The source material really stresses a philosophical shift here. Retailers have to stop treating e-commerce and digital marketing as two separate silos.
I see that all the time.
It's so common. They have to become one integrated business value chain and one integrated technology platform, with the customer experience at the absolute center of it all. This needs a comprehensive architectural change, and it has to be centered around the CDP.
Let's list some of the data elements coming from the e-commerce side that are essential for that integration. We need deep behavioral insights, not just order data. Right?
Exactly. So you start with shopping cart insights. What items were added, removed, or abandoned? This tells you about price sensitivity, about last-minute hesitation. Then you pull in portal and website click streams. You're tracking browsing paths, time spent on pages, what search queries they used. Then you have the standard stuff, order history, product browsing data, and mobile app usage insights.
What about things like help articles?
Crucially, yes. The CDP needs data on how customers engage with knowledge management. What help articles or FAQs were they looking at? And of course, data from the initial onboarding and registration process. All of these points together create this tapestry of the customer's digital intent.
And that lets the CDP predict what they'll do next.
That's the goal.
And then on the marketing side, which metrics are being fed into the CDP to, validate and optimize those journeys?
So the marketing data is critical for closing the feedback loop. We ingest detailed web data tracking and analyze customer journey flows. We need campaign response metrics.
Did they open the email? Did they click the ad?
Right. Did they open the email, click the display ad? Did they actually convert from that direct mail piece you sent them? We calculate customer scores and KPIs. Remember, KPIs are those key performance indicators, like conversion rate, or the cost to acquire a customer.
And promotions.
We integrate data around specific promotions, insights into where the customer is in their life cycle. Are they new, a repeat buyer? Have they gone dormant? We pull in results from A/B testing on different CX elements and engagement metrics from coupons, vouchers, direct mail.
What about customer feedback?
Finally, yes. The system pulls in voice of customer data, like the Net Promoter Score or NPS. That gauges customer sentiment and loyalty based on that simple "how likely are you to recommend us?" survey. This sentiment data then informs the predictive risk models that the CDP builds.
That's actually a really smooth transition to the third crucial universe, CRM and loyalty. You often think of the CRM, the customer relationship management system, as the central source for customer data.
Right, the system of record.
So what is the fundamental functional distinction between the CRM, the loyalty system, and the CDP? Because this is a point of frequent confusion.
It's a critical distinction, and the critique we're looking at highlights how necessary this clarity is. The CRM remains the transactional data repository. It is the system of record. It holds the customer master data, sales history, service records.
But the CDP isn't a system of record.
No. The CDP is the orchestration layer and the system of insight. The CDP makes the structured data in the CRM and all the unstructured behavioral data around the CRM more real-time and actionable by unifying it all.
So the CRM is the backbone.
And the CDP is the brain. It transforms those stored facts into immediate instructions.
I see. So if my CRM holds the service ticket history, The CDP is the layer that uses that history, combines it with my purchase data, and then calculates an immediate risk of churn score for me. Is that right?
Precisely, and that relationship is bidirectional. The CDP insights, like that risk of churn score or a personalized cross-sell recommendation, they have to be fed back to the CRM.
Why is that so important?
It ensures that when a service agent interacts with you through their CRM console, they can see and act on those actionable, real-time insights from the CDP. It makes the service interaction so much more personalized and proactive.
Okay, so what are the specific data elements we're pulling from the CRM to enable this?
We pull data on service tickets, how many are open, how many closed, the nature of the issue. We track lead status and activity. We integrate survey feedback and the raw customer satisfaction scores. We need to know the service resolution KPIs, how long did it take to resolve,
And self-service.
and how customers engage with any self-service knowledge management content during their inquiries. All of this combines that structured service history with the unstructured inquiry behavior.
Now let's talk loyalty. Loyalty systems are, they're designed to boost retention in CLV. By centralizing this data in the CDP, how is that value really maximized?
Loyalty programs are absolute gold mines of behavioral data that go way beyond simple sales. By connecting them to the centralized CDP, you maximize your ability to recognize, reward, and influence the customer across every channel, not just in the loyalty portal.
The value comes from synthesizing it all.
It does. The source outlines this extensive list of key loyalty engagement moments we have to integrate. This includes tracking which loyalty promotions were used, what their response rates were, tracking current loyalty status and points balances,
And the sign-up process.
and the rich data gathered during the initial identification, registration, and onboarding. We track loyalty subscriptions and, of course, all transactions connected to loyalty points, as well as those crucial moments of points redemptions.
That's the transactional side. What about the behavioral and the advocacy data from the loyalty universe?
That's where the really interesting nonlinear insights start to emerge. We track gift card insights, who bought the card and who redeemed it. We track loyalty advocacy, which are those moments where a customer actively promotes the brand.
So that ties into social media.
It ties right into social media engagement, including social sharing, using social logins to get into the loyalty portal, participating in sweepstakes. We also pull in ratings and reviews, Q&A interactions, friend referrals,
Gamification too.
any data from loyalty gamification efforts, engagement with loyalty coupons, and crucially, the system tracks behavioral loyalty. These are the non-monetary actions that signal commitment, like frequent site visits or participating in community forums.
And how does that create value?
Well, by combining, say, social share data with gift card purchase data, the CDP can identify a brand advocate segment. And that segment is exponentially more valuable than just a high-spending customer because they drive new, cheaper customer acquisition.
The amount of unified data is just immense. Let's move to the fourth universe, retail omnichannel fulfillment. This is the operational engine that really demands data convergence because it's where the physical and digital boundaries just completely dissolve.
They do.
What are the key fulfillment models driving this complexity?
So this universe is all about how you, the customer, choose to complete the transaction. It's the bridge between logistics and experience. The typical models we track are all hybrids.
Like click and collect.
Right. In-store buy and return, buy online and pick up in-store, which is known as bought OPS, reserve online and pick up in-store, buy online and return in-store. And then you get into the really complex logistics.
Curbside pickup.
Curbside fulfillment, and even return via pickup from home.
And why is tracking these specific fulfillment models so critical for the CDP's behavioral profile?
Because the model you choose reveals critical preferences and pain points. A frequent BOPI's user, for example, is highly goal-oriented and time-sensitive.
So they value speed over browsing.
Exactly. And that should inform how and when you send them future promotions. The CDP needs to gather insights that go way beyond the final transaction, like the online clickstream data that came before the BOPIS order.
It's about connecting the dots.
It's connecting all the dots. We need to track the redemption of physical coupons that were sent by mail but redeemed in stores. That's a crucial data bridge between the offline world and the unified digital view. We also need data on any in-store event engagements that led up to a purchase.
So what data from the fulfillment systems themselves do you need?
You need to know which omnichannel promotions were used, what omnichannel pricing was leveraged, and detailed data on omnichannel category and items, both browsing and purchase data. And finally, insights from the digital content management system are vital.
Why is that?
You need to track which digital assets, manuals, or instructional videos were used during the fulfillment process. It all adds to the picture.
Okay, finally, we reach the fifth universe, digital and external media.
Yeah.
Why does a retailer have to ingest external data from outside its own four walls, to build a holistic view?
It's critical because the customer's overall buying experience and their sentiment are heavily influenced by factors the retailer doesn't control but absolutely must understand.
External data provides context.
Vital context. For example, if a major news event impacts customer sentiment negatively, or if economic reports predict a tightening of consumer spending, those external factors can be immediately correlated with internal behaviors.
Like an increase in cart abandonment.
Or a surge in price inquiries, exactly.
What are the primary types of external data sources we are integrating here?
We integrate general external sources like news feeds, stock market data, large-scale survey results. We also integrate with specialized platform systems used for media execution, and this is where we need to be clear about some of the jargon.
Go for it.
We integrate with data management platforms, or DMPs, and demand-side platforms, or DSPs.
What's the difference?
It's crucial to understand. DMPs and DSPs are traditionally used for managing and targeting anonymous audiences for external ad buying and programmatic bidding. They operate mostly on cookies and anonymous IDs. The CDP, by contrast, is focused on the identified customer.
So the key insight is connecting the anonymous to the identified.
You've got it. The CDP pulls in that anonymous ad exposure information from the DMP or DSP to link those external ad impressions to an identified customer profile. This bridges the gap between what you know about the customer when they're anonymous on the web and what you know when they log in or walk into your store.
The white paper also mentions external aggregators.
It does. It highlights integrating with specific external aggregators, often used for business leads, which provide enriched profiling. These are platforms that aggregate business info, contact data, firmographic details for prospecting. This external info helps enrich the internal record, which is especially important when we start talking about B2B retail.
And lastly, the major social and digital channels themselves.
Right. We pull data from the major platforms, the big search giant, the largest social media platforms, visual bookmarking sites, microblogging services. This gives you essential data on customer sentiment, on sharing behavior, and the initial point of discovery for products or brands. And all of that dynamically feeds back into that progressive customer profile, informing every single decision the CDP makes.
We've established this enormous scope of data required for B2C retail.
Yeah.
Now let's pivot. A lot of large retailers also have a B2B component, selling to other businesses or organizations. What unique elements do you have to consider for the CDP design in that B2B retail context?
Right. So in B2C, the customer is typically an individual. In B2B, the primary customer is the buying organization, and that involves multiple stakeholders, complex pricing, non-standard purchasing channels. So the CEP has to integrate processes relevant to that entire buying organization, tracking activities across different users and roles.
And the white paper highlights three key B2B areas.
It does. The first area is the self-service B2B portal. Unlike a simple B2C e-commerce site, these portals are heavy utility hubs. So the CDP needs insights into how organizations are using the portal and its self-service features.
Like order tracking.
Exactly. Granular data on order visibility, shipment visibility, and more complex B2B features generate critical data like insights into order management, fulfillment, and those automated replenishment cycles. It also tracks unique B2B behaviors like huge bulk purchases or quick order entries using item codes.
What about file uploads?
And the use of file uploads for large, complex orders. And crucially, the CDP has to track the integration points to any external procurement or enterprise resource planning systems, ERPs, that the B2B customer uses.
That complexity really ramps up when you're dealing with, bespoke pricing and negotiated agreements.
Exactly. And that's the second area, quote to proposal insights. This involves tracking the detailed, often months-long process of generating customized offers.
What kind of data are we talking about here?
Data gathered includes the configuration of offers, the special pricing and promotions applied to a specific corporate account, and the effectiveness of the sales user experience or any guided selling paths the sales team is using.
It's a wholesale sector.
The whole cycle. We track assortment creation, what combinations of products were pitched proposal documents, and the various internal workflows and approvals required on both the retailer side and the client side. All that channel and sales data has to feed into the CDP.
So you can predict the likelihood of closing a deal.
or the right moment for a follow-up.
That's right.
And the final B2B data set involves the actual commerce channels, which are much more diverse than in B2C.
That's the third area, B2B commerce insights. This goes way beyond the standard web store. It includes activity on B2B marketplaces and complex standardized communication protocols like electronic data interchange orders, or EDI.
EDI is a big one for logistics.
Oh, it's essential. It's that automated, standardized machine-to-machine exchange of business documents, like purchase orders and invoices. We also track punch-out transactions.
Okay, punch-out is a new term for me. It's a specific bit of jargon where a corporate buyer starts on their own procurement system and they punch out to the retailer's external catalog to select items. Then they return the shopping cart data back to their own internal system for approval.
I see. So the CDP has to see that interaction to understand the whole path, even if the final order happens somewhere else.
Exactly. And finally, we track data from any B2B assisted service interactions.
This extensive list, across 5 universes plus the added B2B complexity, it makes it sound like an absolutely astronomical immediate integration project.
It sounds daunting.
So what critical piece of advice does the source material offer on how to approach this massive undertaking?
The white paper issues a very specific and I'd say necessary warning, and that is, do not consider bringing all transactional data from all possible systems into the CDP.
Wait, hold on a second. If this CDP is supposed to be the single source of truth, the engine for the customer 360, why wouldn't a retailer want every single piece of data ingested? Isn't less data inherently less powerful? That seems completely counterintuitive to the whole goal of data unification.
And that is the essential challenge in any CDP implementation. You have to remember, the CDP is the system of insight and action. It is not the system of record.
So you don't need 10 years of invoice details in there.
Exactly. That massive transactional history belongs in the specialized systems like the ERP or the CRM. The rationale for being selective is all about prioritization and performance.
It would be too slow and expensive.
Mass data migration is incredibly slow, it's expensive, and it often generates just total data governance chaos. The goal is to identify your key business objectives and your use cases first. Then you prioritize which systems, and more specifically, what relevant header data or aggregate data or KPI-driven data needs to be considered for that initial ingestion.
So you bring in the minimum required to get the job done.
The minimal data set required to create the single view and trigger the necessary real-time actions. It's a surgical, outcome-driven approach.
I understand. Focus on the data that informs action, not the data that just archives history.
Yeah.
So what is the recommended phased implementation strategy for adopting the CDP?
The implementation has to be a joint effort. The business organization, marketing, sales, service, and the IT organization have to work together. It's a business transformation project first and a technology project second.
And there are steps to follow.
The strategy involves 4 sequential steps. First, you must set crystal clear, measurable business objectives tied to those financial goals we talked about at the very beginning.
Okay.
Second, you follow a phased-wise, prioritized, use cases-driven approach. You implement relevant parts of the CDP connected to relevant data systems incrementally. You demonstrate value early, and you demonstrate it often.
What's the third step?
Third, the source strongly recommends using collaborative methods like design thinking. This brings all the key business stakeholders and these CDP experts together in a room to brainstorm and design the to-be technology architecture landscape.
But it's based only on the agreed-upon business cases.
Only. You design the solution around the problem, not around the data you happen to have available.
And fourth.
And fourth, once that architecture is designed and verified against the use cases, you follow it up with an implementation plan for phased adoption. And that adoption has to be rolled out across the various lines of business sales, marketing, customer service, e-commerce, customer success, always following the business use cases you identified back in step 1.
So we've established that the CDP is the engine of operational efficiency and, customer delight. But we started this whole deep dive with a financial imperative.
Yeah.
Accelerated revenue growth.
Right.
And the source material suggests that the ultimate financial payoff isn't just the sum of its improvements, but something far more powerful. And that word is synergy.
Synergy is the crucial multiplier effect. I mean, if you can't financially justify integrating 5 complex data universes, you're not going to get executive buy-in.
So how do you do that?
To help, the source proposes a mathematical framework, they call it the tetrahedron effect model, to measure the synergy and help executives build a real financial business case for that centralized CDP investment.
Okay, let's hear it.
It positions customer experience, or CE, as the function of three core, distinct strategic initiatives, plus the synergy factor, which they call S. The equation is defined as ACE FABC. Alpha A plus beta dot B plus gamma dot C plus S is Z.
Okay, let's break down those three strategic drivers, A, B, and C.
Hmm.
What is the retailer actually investing in when they pursue these three strategies?
These are the three pillars that, when the CDP unifies them, they transform the business model. So A represents the revenue you generate from pursuing the strategy to increase customer lifetime value, or CLV.
And that's often driven by subscriptions.
Often, yes, by adopting recurring revenue or a subscription-based model. This strategy is all about maximizing the value of your existing customer base over time through retention and expansion.
Okay, what's B?
B represents the revenue from pursuing the strategy to increase net new sales growth. This is the acquisition component, getting new customers, and it's optimized by personalized, predictive outreach. C represents the revenue from pursuing the strategy to accelerate top-line growth by introducing new revenue streams. This could be launching new marketplaces, developing premium service tiers, or integrating entirely new business models, all of which are informed by deep customer data.
And the Greek letters, alpha, beta, gamma, those represent the associated costs, the investment factors, is that
correct? They are the incremental investments made. So alpha is the incremental investment made specifically to address strategy A, boosting CLV. Beta is the investment for strategy B, net new sales growth. And gamma is the investment for strategy C, launching those new revenue streams.
So the total investment is the sum of those factors.
It is.
Okay, so if a retailer pursues all three of those strategies independently, the total return would just be the linear sum of those efforts. But the real breakthrough, the justification for the whole platform, is that factor S, the synergy.
Right.
How does the model define S and explain its power?
S is the financial justification for the CDP. It represents the synergy created between those three strategy drivers. The source material claims this combination results in an exponential impact on customer experience and revenue, not just a linear additive one.
Can you give me a tangible example of how that exponential effect would work?
Sure. Let's use a tangible example to illustrate it. Suppose you pursue strategy A, increasing CLV, and you identify your top 10% of customers as having an extremely high lifetime value.
Okay, you know who your best customers are.
Right. Now, if you then feed this segment information into strategy B, net new sales growth, the synergy, S, manifests. Instead of spending your marketing dollars broadly on new acquisition, the CDP uses the attributes of your top 10% segment to build highly accurate lookalike models for new customer acquisition.
So the intelligence you gain from your existing customers in strategy A dramatically lowers the cost and increases the conversion rate of acquiring new customers in strategy B.
Precisely. The returns on your investment in B become exponentially higher because the data from A is leveraged. And similarly, if you pursue strategy C, new revenue streams.
Like launching a subscription service.
Exactly, launching a subscription service. If you use the CDP to target customers who already exhibit high behavioral loyalty and CLV from strategy A, the adoption rate of that new service will be much, much higher than if you just marketed it to your general customer base.
I see.
That combination, CLV data optimizing your acquisition and CLV data optimizing your new product launches, that is the multiplier effect. The whole is far, far greater than the sum of its parts.
And it's the CDP's ability to orchestrate all three at once that generates S's.
That's it. That's what makes the financial impact multiplicative, not merely additive. This exponential return is the absolute core justification for the heavy investment required to unify those 5 data universes.
That brings the transformation potential into really sharp focus. Accelerated revenue growth, significantly higher CLV, and a profoundly improved customer experience, all driven by this central data unification engine.
So to synthesize our deep dive, the CDP is, it's so far from just being a data storage unit. It's a sophisticated real-time orchestration engine that unifies data from those 5 complex and interconnected universes: physical POS, e-commerce, loyalty, B2B portals, external media.
And its main purpose is turning data into action.
Its primary purpose is to convert that unified data into immediate, personalized actions. And success isn't measured by the volume of data you ingest, but by the focus and the surgical precision of your approach. It has to be driven by clear business objectives and a phased implementation.
We've really dissected how deeply interconnected every single touchpoint is in modern retail, and how the customer's high demands for a seamless, end-to-end, delightful experience are really the unstoppable force driving this entire digital transformation effort.
Which leaves us with a critical and I think provocative thought for you to consider. We've established that the synergy, that S factor, created by integrating and coordinating those three core strategies, increasing CLV, boosting net new sales, and launching new streams, results in an exponential financial impact. So considering the volatility and the ruthless competition in the retail landscape today, how much of a risk is it not investing in this central synergy engine versus the known risk of continuing to overinvest in siloed, linear, non-communicative solutions? That transition from a linear return to an exponential synergy is, I believe, the critical question facing retail leadership today.